This was not planned to be my first video. Honestly, it could still end up being my second because I have another video in the works, but this one just seemed the most relevant, so we'll start here. Since I was this age here, I don't remember exactly how old I was then, I wanted to actually be a police officer. And that is actually a short, but I think kind of interesting story. My mom and my brother used to actually mess with me all the time because for some reason I was just naturally afraid of cops. And they really played into that fear because they thought it was really funny. I would not suggest going in that direction, especially with a black child. We have enough black people afraid of cops as it is, and this isn't helping. But the reason why I wanted to start with a story is for some context. Anytime there would be sirens, they would say, "Oh, they're coming for you," and as like a 4 or 5-year-old, I'm crying in the back seat. I think the police are coming to get me. I don't know where they're going to take me. I knew jail was a place, but I knew nothing about it. I was a very scared child. I was scared of everything. Tornadoes, everything. I'm still scared of tornadoes, what I'm talking about. But that all changed one day when I went to Kroger with my mom. I went to Kroger with my mom and I saw a police officer there, and he was there standing guard. That was the first time I had ever actually seen one that close. You know, I still kind of remember the guy. White guy, probably in his mid to late 30s. You know, he had a little bit of a belly, but not too much. I'm definitely taller now than he would have been at the time. And I remember just staring up at him because that was the closest I'd ever been to one. I skipped over a bit of the story. Let me go back. Most of my family used to live in Akron at the time. So we would drive down there to go see them from Columbus. Right before we got home, we actually started getting tailed by a police officer. And of course my mom actually tries to get away from the guy. What was she thinking? Just stop. He follows us home before we finally come to a stop. And he comes over, they tell him that we're coming back from Akron and we're actually getting ready for church. And we were, it was Sunday morning, so we were coming back from a long way from Akron. We who were about to get ready for church, and here we are getting pulled over. And I'm like a little kid, and I'm terrified because they had taught me to be afraid of cops. It was unintentional, but it was probably a bad choice. And so when they got done telling them everything, he just told them, "Okay, let me see your license and registration. I'll let you off with a warning." And my mom and my aunt were so happy, and they're just saying like, "Oh, you're a nice police officer. You're nice." And I'm thinking to myself as a little kid, there are nice ones? Okay, and so after I had that thought, like, there are nice police officers? What? And so probably at least a couple weeks or so later, I can't remember exactly how many weeks. I think I was probably third grade, because I can remember the apartment we lived in. At the time we went to that Kroger, I saw the cop. Like, he looked like a nice enough guy, and finally he looks down and he sees me there staring up at him. And so I wave. I just wave, and he smiles and he waves back. And at that moment I realized, wow, police officers are nice, or they can be nice. And not long after, I was like, I want to be like that. I want to be a nice person with authority who helps people. Like, at that point, I started buying like police cars from Hot Wheels. I started playing games where I could drive a police car, which is really funny because I was doing it in Grand Theft Auto. I was way too young to be playing that game, that's for sure. And so throughout my childhood, I was adamant that I really wanted to be a cop until I became like a teenager and I decided I would be a game programmer. Terrible idea. But in the end, I didn't ever really pursue the dream, although it comes back to me every now and then because, like, it's a childhood dream. It's one of those things that never really leaves. And so I still think about it every now and then. And then, you know, these things come up. And obviously this isn't the first time this happened. Since, you know, I can't breathe is not, this was not the first time we've heard that as the slogan for these protests. And this is just the largest that it's been. And honestly, in ways, it's amazing to see how many people are willing to come out and fight against this system. And when I say this system, I mean the system of letting people get away with things like this. And while I don't know if this will result in any real change, there are some things that I want people to try to remember. And as someone who wanted to be a cop, this is something I often think about. Because in my time that I've lived here my entire life, I have never met a cop who was mean to me. And we're talking about the fact that I've only been pulled over once, but technically I was pulled over twice by the same cop. That's a completely different story, and I will tell it one day, but I don't want to get off track. But even in my idiocy in that time, he was still pretty nice. He kind of irritated with me, I could tell, but he was not mean. And it doesn't mean that there aren't cops who are mean, who aren't going to try to hurt people. But there are so many others who want to help. Some who are actually coming to the aid of the supporters in really interesting ways. Like these two cops here who are holding a sign that says to end police brutality. And the cops who come right out of their cars and kneel right in front of the crowd. And the crowd is so appreciative. The Atlanta chief of police actually comes out to everyone, and she's at the most risk. The reason why she's at the most risk is not because she's a woman. It's because she's the chief of police. If you are actually a vagrant who wants to hurt somebody, it would be really easy to get to her in that spot because she's going out there. She's answering questions. But see, the thing is, what people are forgetting right now, the coronavirus is still going on right now. These mass gatherings of one person can spread it over to so many other people because so many people are not following the guidelines for social distancing. And at that point, she is going out there with no protection, no armor or anything. I said armor, I meant bulletproof vest or anything like that. No gloves, no mask, and she's going out there surrounded by all these people with cameras in her face, and she's answering questions. She's trying to tell people that no, she's on their side. And that's one of the big things I want to get across. We are all on the same side, whether or not some cops are out to hurt people, and I'm sure there are plenty of them who are. But the thing is, we're on the same side. It's not us people versus them cops. It's not black versus white. It's everyone versus racism. And that's it. And it's not just black. It's any other race who have been put down by these things, and there are plenty. Probably my favorite video was here when we actually had another who came out, and this was the one that was in Flint. He was telling everyone that the police officers all put down their batons and everything because they love their community and they are there to support them. And like that crap that goes on over there does not, define the rest of their department, does not define the rest of the country, does not define other police officers. And when they started chanting, "Walk with us," they walked and everybody was smiling. They were happy. Do you see how happy these people are when the police come out and join the cause? Because they remember we're on the same side. They remember this is not us versus them. And it never has been. But, I'm trying not to play a devil's advocate here because this could go really badly, and I realize this, is that police officers are supposed to uphold a higher standard. But they're also human. We know that there are white supremacists in the police, and honestly, the only way to do anything about it is to stop pretending that there isn't something going on. Stop ignoring the problem. And the people who are out there trying to just loot and destroy because they found an opportunity to do it. Like, that's why the curfew is there, to stop things like that. But the actual protesters, they are not the problem. It's the people who used it as an excuse to attack Target. But real protesters are actually going now and stopping people from going in there and destroying the targets, because they are trying to make sure that it stays pure. And I really applaud them for that. It's brave. The same as that picture of, I think it was all women who were all chained up together protecting the protesters from the police in one photo. I'm gonna try to find that and post it here. There was the one where all the men were lined up, all still in masks, not completely social distance, but it's fine, who were all protecting a police officer who's in the corner. There are some people who thought that it might be fake, or some people or actually ran into one person who actually said that this was not the right thing to do. Like, why are we protecting the police? And I responded, which is why this video exists right now, actually, with remembering that we are on the same side. All of us are on the same side. And while it's going to be really hard to believe with how much is going on, people getting shot with paintballs, people being shot with tear gas, which isn't even allowed in war, some are just looking for an excuse to assert their power. The thing to remember is that once things start to cool down a little bit, don't forget, when the protests stop, when the curfew ends, make sure people don't forget this time. Like, people weren't out there still protesting in meaningful ways until it happened again. Like, people have to die before people remember that this is still a problem. Like, stay on it this time, and I'm gonna try to do the same. Like, I can't pretend that I'm not part of that same camp. I didn't say a thing, and before, when the other things happened, I never said anything, because I have so many conservative friends that I didn't want to offend them, but I got tired of holding my tongue because I didn't want to offend them. I'm tired of holding my tongue. This channel exists now because I don't want to hold my tongue anymore. There's so much I need to say, so much I need to get off my chest, and this is just the beginning. This channel right now kind of looks like it's going to be a mix between tragedy and comedy, because I want to have fun, but I want to talk about serious things, and it's going to be weird, but this is just me. I have held my tongue for many, many, many years because of the environment I'm in, the family I grew up in, and so I am ready to just spread my wings and get started on something better, something new. And I hope you guys will be along for the journey. So, subscribe. The next video, I'm hoping, will be out soon, because I'm just talking to the camera and I got other things I want to do. And while I have the energy, while I have the time, while I have the will, I need to get on this now. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the end of this ramble. Like it, dislike it, I don't know how you agree. Get a conversation going in the comments if you actually watch it. 1 to 12 people actually watch this video. I don't know. I'm doing my best. So thanks for watching, and stay safe, stay inside if you can, keep up the good fighting. Remember that we are all on the same side.